The 1-Minute Manager by Kenneth Blanchard and Spencer Johnson, 1982. Part 1. The Search for an Effective Manager. You begin your journey alongside a young man who is searching for something he has not yet found in his career, an effective manager. He has encountered many different types of leaders in his quest, some who seem focused only on results, pushing their people hard and getting high productivity, but at the cost of broken relationships and unhappy teams. Others he has met focus only on people, creating warm and friendly environments where everyone feels good, but where results suffer and the organization struggles to compete. What he wants, what he suspects must exist somewhere, is a manager who can achieve both great results and great relationships. His search has taken him to many offices and many cities, but each time he is left disappointed until one day he hears a rumor about a special manager in a nearby town, someone people call the 1-Minute Manager, and his curiosity is sparked. The young man arrives at the office of the 1-Minute Manager with a mixture of hope and skepticism, unsure what to expect from someone with such an unusual title. To his surprise, the manager seems relaxed, almost underworked, and when the young man asks how he can achieve so much with so little visible effort, the manager explains that he doesn't participate in his people's decisions. This seems counterintuitive until the manager invites him to walk through the office and speak directly with his subordinates. As the young man talks to each employee, he discovers something remarkable. They all speak of their manager with genuine admiration and respect, and they all replicate his techniques with their own teams. The employees explain that their manager has trained them so well that they rarely need to come to him with problems. They know they were hired to solve problems themselves. The young man realizes he has found what he was looking for and eagerly agrees to learn the 3 secrets of 1-minute management. Before revealing the secrets, the 1-Minute Manager shares a foundational principle that will frame everything you learn. People who feel good about themselves produce good results. This is not just motivational rhetoric, but a practical truth grounded in how human beings actually function. When people feel valued, respected, and clear about what they need to do, they bring their best selves to work. When they feel confused, unappreciated, or criticized, they withdraw and produce minimally. The manager explains that most organizations spend 50 to 70% of their budget on people's salaries, but invest almost nothing in helping those people feel capable and motivated. The 3 secrets you are about to learn are designed to change that, to create an environment where people naturally want to do their best because they know where they stand. They know when they are succeeding, and they know they matter. The young man is introduced to the first employee, a woman named Trinell, who explains the first secret, 1-minute goals. She tells him that early in her tenure, her manager sat down with her, and together they wrote out the most important responsibilities of her job on a single sheet of paper. Each goal was stated clearly and concisely, taking no more than 1 minute to read. They agreed on what success would look like for each goal, and she kept that paper as her guide. Now, at the start of each week, she spends a few minutes reviewing her goals, and throughout the week, she knows exactly what she is aiming for. The young man realizes that most of the confusion and frustration he has experienced in past jobs came from not knowing what was truly expected of him. With 1-minute goals, there is no guessing, no ambiguity, and no fear of being surprised at review time. Part 2. The first secret, 1-minute goals. You now learn the mechanics of 1-minute goals in depth, understanding that the key is agreement between manager and employee on what needs to be accomplished. The process begins with a conversation where both parties discuss the most important responsibilities of the role, focusing on the 20% of tasks that will drive 80% of the results. Each goal is written down in fewer than 250 words, using language so clear that anyone reading it would understand exactly what success looks like. The manager and employee each keep a copy, and the employee is encouraged to read through their goals regularly, spending just a minute each day reminding themselves of what matters most. This daily review is not about micromanagement, but about keeping the priorities front and center so that daily decisions align with what is truly important. The manager explains why 1-minute goals are so effective, and the reason lies in how people are motivated. Most people want to do good work, but they cannot hit a target they cannot see. When goals are vague or unspoken, employees fill the void with anxiety and guesswork, often working hard but in the wrong direction. When goals are clear and shared, employees can self-correct and make decisions independently because they know what the organization is trying to achieve. The young man reflects on his own experience and realizes that his most productive periods came when he had absolute clarity about what was expected. His least productive periods came when he was guessing, when feedback was withheld until annual reviews, when he learned too late that he had been focused on the wrong things. A common concern arises in the young man's mind. Does this mean employees have no freedom, no room to be creative? The manager anticipates this question and explains that 1-minute goals are not constraints, but boundaries within which creativity can flourish. Knowing the destination frees you to choose the path. An employee who knows they need to increase customer satisfaction by 20% can experiment with different approaches, try new ideas, and innovate within that framework. An employee who is simply told to do a good job with customers has no framework at all and will either play it too safe or wander off course. Goals provide the structure that makes meaningful autonomy possible. The manager also emphasizes that 1-minute goals prevent the vast majority of problems before they occur. When manager and employee are aligned from the beginning, when expectations are explicit rather than assumed, there is no room for the misunderstandings that lead to conflict later. The young man realizes how much time he has wasted in past jobs, dealing with problems that could have been prevented by a simple, upfront conversation. He begins to understand that the minute spent setting a goal at the beginning saves hours of correction and frustration down the road, and he eagerly anticipates learning the next secret. Part 3. The second secret. 1-minute praisings. The young man continues his conversations with the employees and soon discovers the second secret, 1-minute praisings. One employee describes how, especially in her first weeks on the job, her manager made a point of watching her closely and catching her doing something right. When she did something well, even something small, he would come to her immediately, put a hand on her shoulder or shake her hand, and tell her specifically what she had done correctly. He would then pause for a moment to let the praise sink in, and finally encourage her to keep up the good work. The whole interaction took about a minute, but its effects lasted much longer. She felt seen, valued, and motivated to repeat the behavior that had earned the praise. The manager later explains the philosophy behind 1-minute praisings. Most managers wait for employees to do something wrong and then criticize them. But this approach trains people to avoid mistakes rather than to pursue excellence. The 1-minute manager takes the opposite approach, believing that the key to developing people is to catch them doing something right. This does not mean ignoring problems, which the third secret will address, but it means building a foundation of positive reinforcement so that employees know what success looks like and feel capable of achieving it. When people know they are on the right track, when they receive immediate feedback that they are doing well, they naturally want to do even better. You learn the specific steps of an effective 1-minute praising. First, the praise must be immediate. Delayed praise loses its power because the connection between behavior and recognition grows weak. Second, the praise must be specific, naming exactly what the person did right so they can repeat it. Third, you must share how you feel about their accomplishment, letting them know that their success matters to you personally. Fourth, you pause for a moment of silence, allowing them to truly absorb the positive feeling. Finally, you encourage them to keep doing more of the same, reinforcing your confidence in their ability. Throughout the interaction, appropriate physical contact like a handshake or a pat on the back can deepen the connection, but only when it is genuine and respectful. The manager addresses the concern that constant praise might feel manipulative or insincere, and the answer lies in the intention behind it. 1-minute praisings are not a technique to be deployed cynically to get more work out of people. They are an expression of genuine appreciation for real contributions. When you truly notice someone doing something well, and you honestly feel grateful for their effort, expressing that feeling is not manipulation, it is simply good leadership. The difference between manipulation and genuine praise is that in manipulation, the manager's concern is only for the result, while in genuine praise, the manager cares about both the result and the person who achieved it. This care must be real, and when it is, people know the difference. Part 4. The third secret: 1-minute reprimands. The young man now learns the third and most delicate secret: 1-minute reprimands. An employee describes a time when she made a mistake, and her manager came to her immediately. He put his hand on her shoulder, looked her in the eye, and told her specifically what she had done wrong and how he felt about it. Then he paused for a moment of uncomfortable silence, letting the weight of the feedback land. But then, and this is the crucial part, he shook her hand and reminded her that she was valuable, that he thought highly of her, and that the criticism was about her behavior in this instance, not about her as a person. He finished by telling her that he had confidence in her and that he knew she would do better going forward. The whole interaction took about a minute, and she left feeling corrected but not crushed, clear about what to change but still valued. The manager explains the two-part structure of the 1-minute reprimand, which is what makes it different from ordinary criticism. The first half, lasting about 30 seconds, addresses the mistake directly. You tell the person immediately what they did wrong. You are specific about the behavior, and you share how you feel about it. This is followed by a few seconds of silence, which allows the person to feel the discomfort of having let you down. Then comes the second half. You remind them that they are capable and valuable, that you have confidence in them, and that this reprimand is about their performance in this instance, not about their worth. You shake their hand or make supportive contact, making it clear that when the reprimand is over, it is truly over. You do not bring it up again or hold it against them. The manager emphasizes why this approach is so important. When people are criticized without reassurance, they begin to believe they are the problem, that they are fundamentally inadequate, and they lose motivation. They either become defensive, explaining away their mistake rather than learning from it, or they become defeated, believing they cannot succeed. The 1-minute reprimand corrects the behavior while protecting the person's sense of worth, allowing them to hear the feedback without becoming defensive because they know you are on their side. They can accept that they made a mistake without believing they are a mistake, and this distinction makes all the difference in whether they grow from the experience or shrink from it. The manager also warns that 1-minute reprimands only work when the foundation of 1-minute goals and 1-minute praisings is already in place. If you have not set clear goals, the reprimand feels arbitrary. If you have not built up a bank of praise, the reprimand feels like the only feedback you ever give. But when people know what is expected, and when they have been regularly recognized for doing well, they can accept correction as part of a balanced relationship, rather than as a personal attack. The 3 secrets work together as a system, each one supporting and enabling the others, and you cannot pick and choose which ones to apply. All 3 are necessary for the system to function. Part 5. Becoming a 1-minute manager. The young man now has all 3 secrets, but he still has questions about how they work together and why they are effective. He returns to the 1-minute manager, who explains that the real power of the system lies in its honesty and its respect for people. 1-minute goals are honest because they make expectations clear rather than hiding them. 1-minute praisings are honest because they acknowledge real contributions when they happen. 1-minute reprimands are honest because they address problems directly but fairly. In all 3, the underlying message is the same. You matter, your work matters, and I am paying attention. This is what people want from their managers, and it is what most managers fail to provide because they are too busy or too distracted to focus on the people who work for them. The manager shares a simple visual that captures the relationship between the three secrets. Imagine a line representing your employee's performance. 1-minute goals set the target, showing the employee where the line needs to be. 1-minute praisings catch the employee when they are above the line, reinforcing the behaviors that lead to success. 1-minute reprimands catch the employee when they are below the line, correcting course before they drift too far. With clear goals and immediate feedback on both sides of the line, the employee always knows where they stand and can self-correct in real time rather than waiting for an annual review to learn how they are doing. This is management as coaching, not as judgment. The young man asks the most important question: how does someone become a 1-minute manager themselves? The answer is both simple and demanding. You start by practicing. You begin setting clear goals with your people, taking the time upfront to ensure everyone knows what they are aiming for. You begin watching for opportunities to catch people doing something right, and you force yourself to deliver those praisings, even when it feels awkward at first. You begin addressing mistakes immediately and fairly, using the two-part structure to correct behavior without damaging relationships. And you keep practicing until these behaviors become habits, until 1-minute management is not something you do, but something you are. The young man leaves the 1-minute manager's office transformed, carrying with him not just techniques, but a philosophy. He understands now that effective management is not about working harder or having more answers than your people. It is about creating the conditions for your people to succeed, giving them the clarity, the recognition, and the fair feedback they need to do their best work. It is about investing time in people, not as a drain on productivity, but as the most leveraged investment you can make. As he walks out the door, he remembers something the manager told him early in their conversation. The best minute I spend is the one I invest in people. Now he understands why, and he is ready to make that investment himself. Part 6. The Gift of 1-Minute Management. Years pass, and the young man has now become a 1-minute manager himself, leading his own team with the same principles he learned on that transformative visit. He reflects on how his life has changed. His team is more productive than any he has led before, but more importantly, they are happier. Turnover is low because people feel valued and know where they stand. Stress is reduced because expectations are clear and feedback is continuous. Problems are solved at the lowest level because people have the confidence to make decisions. The organization benefits from better results, and the people benefit from a workplace where they can grow and thrive. The manager shares his approach with a new generation of leaders, including a young woman who comes to him with the same curiosity and hope he once felt. He walks her through the 3 secrets, tells her the story of his own journey, and encourages her to experiment with these principles in her own work. He knows that the greatest gift he can give is not just the techniques, but the understanding that people are the most valuable resource any organization has, and that investing in them is never a distraction from results, but the surest path to achieving them. As he speaks with her, he realizes that he has become the mentor he once sought, and that the legacy of the 1-minute manager lives on through everyone who embraces its simple but profound truths. The book concludes by addressing you directly, inviting you to become a 1-minute manager yourself. You do not need to wait for a promotion or a new job. You can start today, with whatever team you have, however small. You can set one clear goal with one person and see what happens. You can catch one person doing something right and offer a genuine praising. You can address one mistake with a fair reprimand that leaves the person feeling corrected but valued. The principles are simple, but they only work if you use them. Knowledge without action is just information. Action without consistency is just a false start. But consistent action, day after day, person after person, builds a culture where people feel good about themselves and therefore produce good results. You are reminded that becoming a 1-minute manager is not about perfection, but about intention. You will forget sometimes. You will get busy and neglect to praise. You will avoid difficult conversations longer than you should. This is human, and you can forgive yourself and begin again. The key is to keep coming back to the principles, to keep investing in people, to keep remembering that the best minute you spend is the one you invest in someone else. When you do, you will not only achieve better results, you will experience the deeper satisfaction of knowing that you helped others grow, that you contributed to their success, and that you built something that outlasts any single achievement. This is the true gift of 1-minute management, and it is available to you right now, starting with your next interaction. To show love and appreciation, like, share, and subscribe.